Hey, we're back at the top again today with Week 8 of the NPA, the National Pokemon Association, and this begins our Final 5 Gauntlet as we go up against Chris Cobain and the Philadelphia Braviaries. This is Week 1 out of 5 of the Final 5 Gauntlet, because our Final 5 matchups versus, like, the other people, they're all, like, really high up in the league. And by high up in the league, I mean record-wise. So this is not going to get easy. The fact that people are saying, like, oh, you were just built on your schedule. Well, we're here to prove that in this final 5 weeks. Now, we go up, like I said, we go up against Chris Cobain, and he's sitting at 5-1 plus 19. And we are sitting at, of course, 6-1 plus 22. So this could be an even matchup. So we move on and see that he's still selecting. This is actually the first time that I've actually made it to the screen without the other person being done. It's been some time, but still selecting everything to his liking. He's got to get his team, got to get the music that he wants. Of course, I kind of go in a certain order depending on the chronological order of the music. And today, we are using the Guzma battle theme, albeit you won't be able to hear it as you have Persona 5 music going on in the background. And that was supposed to be a foreshadowing this entire time. But we have our teams ready, and here we have Scizor, Zygarde, Thundurus T, Empoleon, Azelf, and Primarina. Now, yeah, and I have Sylveon, Mamoswine, Mantine, Alolan Marowak, Electrode, and Sharpedo. And what's missing from his team is going to be Swellow, Magmotar, Leafeon, and Dugtrio, and Cofagrigus as well. But looking at this, I actually knew for a fact he was bringing Zygarde, Scizor, Mega Scizor, excuse me, Thundurus T, and Primarina. The other two were tossed up. I was not expecting Empoleon, though. That's why I didn't bring Como. Oh, and Azelf. That's fine as well. So I'm looking at it, possible leads. I'm thinking either the Empoleon or the Azelf. And then, so I'm thinking maybe I should go with the, with my Mega Sharpedo. And then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe Mamoswine might be better because I can, like, bait out that I don't have a Scarf, and then I can use that later on, kind of like how I did that against John. It's very much a toss-up, but we are nearing the certain time. And I just heard a notification sound, but it came from the video. That's funny. That's very funny. But with that, we can look at the team. We're going to basically go, again, zigzagging down. We're going to start off with Sylveon, who is max physical defense. I'm going to do this quickly just because I had this battle just recently. It's Friday night, and I want to get this video out. So we're not going to have stat pop-ups, but I'll show you the stats, like their total stats entirely at the very end. But I'm going to do this quickly. We have Sylveon, max physically defensive with the Berry, so then I can take on Scizor and fire back with Hidden Power Fire that I do carry, but I also have Hyper Voice, Wish, and Protect. Mamoswine is running a set, which is pretty interesting. It's enough speed to outspeed the Swellow. I was considering trying to speed creep my Electrode speed creep, so that means it would be 1 point higher than speed creeping my Electrode, but I was about 5 points short of that with Jolly max speed, so I was unfortunately not being able to do that. If I was, that would have been great, but unfortunately I couldn't. And I'm running Knockoff, EQ, Icicle Crash, and Ice Shard. The next guy we got is Mantine, who's making his third appearance, I believe. But Mantine, what Mantine is doing is going to be physically defensive, kind of like a switch into the Mega Scizor. Empoleon is a good one, but that's more like a stopgap, if you know what I mean. The Primarina is another good one, another good switch in, and the Zygarde to an extent, because it's a close to a KO. I'm not quite sure on it for 1,000 arrows and such, but I calced it should be fine. And like, we should just be able to defog, because we do have, like, the normal set that we normally have, albeit it's physically defensive. So I'm running Scald, Air Slash, Defog, and Roost. And Alolan Marowak is our specially defensive walls. It's supposed to deal with the Thundurus T, which is supposedly the MVP. But, I mean, Mamoswine and Thundurus T have the same differential, and I have more... whatever you want to call it, kills. So I still don't know why Mamoswine isn't the MVP currently, but that's for another video. But Alolan Marowak, he's rocking the Thick Club with Stealth Rocks, and then of course the 2 stabs, Shadow Bone and Fire Punch, because I don't want to lose HP due to Flare Blitz. And our last one is of course going to be, if I remember correctly, I think I was running Rock Slide. Yeah, that's Alolan Marowak. Then we have Electrode, which is enough speed to outspeed the Swellow again, I think. Yeah, definitely Swellow. But I am running it's kind of interesting. I'm running Discharge, Signal Beam, Hidden Power Ice, and Volt Switch, and I'm holding the Electrium Z because that will guarantee a one-shot on Prime Arena, which I knew was coming, and because really it was the only thing that could kind of deal with the Mamoswine, like switch in and then fire back. Then again, a physically defensive or like a more bulkier Scizor could do the same, so what do I know? And then Mega Sharpedo is rocking in here with Waterfall, Crunch, Ice Fang, and what was the last one? Aqua Jet. Yeah, that was it. It was more of like I should have thought of that a little bit better, but hey, what do I know? Because we're thinking about it, I was like, wait a minute, Prime Arena walls this set entirely, but what is Poison Fang gonna do anyway? So it was a tough call, but these Water Fairy type Pokemon are just bugging me. It happened with against John, and it's happening again. So it's a tough call. But I mean, we've already picked our team about I should have right now. And all we're waiting for is him to pick. We are leading with our Mamoswine to try to bluff that we don't have a Scarf. And if we can do that, things will be very good. We'll see what he leads off with though, as we have the same stance going in. We're both Smug, I guess. We're both at the top of the division, I think. Or our divisions, excuse me. Because he's in the red division. I'm in the blue division. Regardless, Pokemon Trainer Cobain is going to set up the challenge. And he's going to lead with Navi. And that is going to be the Azelf. So, now I'm thinking. How do I deal with this? Buckle up. It's going to be a long battle. This battle is about 45 minutes. So, I have it compressed into 20 minutes. So here, in this turn, I'm thinking, I could go for the knockoff straight away, but what if he's Scarfed and then fires back? In the back of my mind, I wasn't actually thinking he could just U-turn, and I could have just tested the waters to see if it was, but I didn't want him to go for, like, Grass Knot or something crazy. But in the end, he does U-turn on my Sylveon after I switch it in. Not my best thing to do here, really. And now I'm just waiting for him to switch in something, which I'm assuming is going to be the Scizor, and it is the Scizor. And at this point, I don't really want to just give away that I have HP Fire. I really don't. He noticed that I did not have the leftovers, so he's maybe thinking I am carrying the Braviaries, which I am, but I don't want to be this hasty early on. I really don't. So I'm actually just going to switch out now because I don't really want to take a hit now. When I don't want to waste and reveal that I have a Hidden Power Fire so soon. And that proved to be the best choice as he switches out into his Empoleon as I switch into Mantine. Now, no matter what, this is my Defogger, so even if he gets up the rocks, I'm not going to allow it. And I was thinking, maybe I should switch out. I don't know if I should switch out. Instead, I think I'll go for Scald instead, just in case if he wants to set up rocks as I switch. So I do go for Scald. I get the burn, and he does set up the rocks, which allows me to defog. It gives him a turn to switch into an electric Pokemon, i.e. the Thundurus Therian. But, I mean, that's fine. We do have a Lightning Rod Pokemon, which can roughly deal with it pretty well. If it has Dark Pulse, that could be an issue. But, like I said, he does go into the Thundurus as I go for the defog. And I'm immediately going out into my Alola Marowak, because I am ready for this. I am 100% ready for this. I have looked at this in my head so many times. As long as he doesn't have a Dark Pulse, everything should be fine. So I do go out into the Alolan Marowak, and he goes for Hidden Power, which and it's normally effective. So I try to pinpoint what it could be. I think it was only Hidden Power Flying, Dragon, or I can't remember what that last move is. That last typing that it could be. But either way, there's only 3 typings that normally affect Alolan Marowak, and it's HP, it's Flying, Dragon, and something else. And I know he wouldn't be running Dragon. I actually can search this up really quickly, just so we can make sure. Alolan Marowak. Now I'm thinking, and right now I'm actually thinking out which one is which. So here I have a free Shadow Bone, because Shadow Bone actually is unresisted by any Pokemon on this team, other than the Swallow, but he didn't bring it. So looking at this, it could have been Hidden Power Dragon, Hidden Power Flying, or Hidden Power Psychic. I guarantee you it's either Flying or Psychic, because there's no point in running Hidden Power Dragon. That literally doesn't make any sense at all. Especially we can just run like Hidden Power Ice and deal with the dragons anyways. So I can only assume that was something that could hit the Como-O. So I'm assuming it was like hidden power flying or something. But here I'm switching out into my Sylveon, and this is where I find out that this Zygarde is banded, because the way I looked at it was more like it was a low chance to like 3 hit KO or 4 hit KO. Either way, should have only done like this should have been a clean switch in. Instead, it's not, as like I said, I find out it's banded, and the way I calc it, I thought it was adamant band. It turns out it was jolly band, and I can't really stay in here if I want to die, because that did about, because I was at 81, so that did about 92 damage, and that's a roll. That's definitely a roll, and if I would have gone for protect here if I had leftovers, but I went with I didn't go with leftovers because I thought he could just predict that and just set up on my Sylveon. I didn't want it to be setup fodder, but here 103, it does up to 103 damage, so it does only about 88 damage, which is actually good to know, because then I know that this is a good switch in for it rather than my Sylveon. So that is definitely good to know, but here I'm forced to roost. Every time I come in on the Zygarde, take 1,000 arrows, I am forced to roost. So it's a little bit problematic, because he can just go out into his Thunderous T every single time, which means I need to get my rocks off as soon as possible. If I can do that, I can whittle down his Thunderous T, and then I can just clean him up using Ice Shard. I don't even have to worry about outspeeding it. So that is definitely something I can look forward to. But of course, I'm not going to stay in here. I have to go out into Alolan Marowak again. I've already made the decision to do so. So I just have to. That's my only play. Well, I could stay in here predicting something else, but I'm not playing with electricity like that. I had my power go out last week, and I definitely don't need a supercharger. So here, it goes for hidden power again, leaves me on 58. I'm assuming that's hidden power flying, because I'm not sure if that gets the stab boost. I'm really not. But here, he switches back out into his Zygarde as I go for the Stealth Rock this time. Kind of gives me a free turn later on if he wants to defog with his Empoleon, but I'm not going to stay in here again. I can just go out into my Mantine and keep the cycle going, where we switch out, bang, go, like bang as in like the attacks. But but of course, I don't think I can live another hidden power flying or psychic from that Thunderous T. I really don't. But so I need to be very wary, and somehow maybe I can get a wish into my little Marowak, so then its longevity can hang on even more. Goes for 1,000 arrows again on my Mantine, does the same amount of damage, so we're definitely a good switch in here. Even if it wants to go for Outrage, I can just switch into my Sylveon and just like pass the wish into it from there. I was actually predicting that the Zygarde would have Corkscrew Crash Iron Tail for my Sylveon. And I thought, you know what, let's use this as a backup, just in case if he wants to do that. But here we're in the position where I get a free switch in into my Sylveon as he goes for the defog. And here I was like, you know what does this thing have? It's going to be hugely risky, but I'm at like nearly max HP, and I can take a Flash Cannon if he has one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to set up a wish here. I'm going to set up a wish here just to get my HP back up. That's all. That's literally the best thing I can do here. And I don't know what he's going to do. But he ends up setting up his rocks as I go for the wish. And I'm thinking, you know what? I can go for Protect here. He hasn't seen the Protect, so I don't know what his Empoleon would have. I don't. So I'm going to go for the Protect here. And he's going to go for the Scald, which tells me that he does not have... Well, I can't tell. Maybe he was bluffing that he doesn't have a Steel move. But we won't find out. So I'm thinking, you know what? I can just freely... This can be a pivot for me. I can go out into my Mantine here, and then I can just defog, but no, he reveals his last move, and that is going to be Roar, which kind of makes it harder for me to pass wishes into different Pokemon off of this one. So I still need a pinpoint of Pokemon that I can just pass wishes onto, and just use that as my main pivot. But here he roars me onto my Electrode, which is actually perfect, and I'm thinking, you know what? I know he needs this thing. Let's go for Hidden Power Ice. Let's just go for Hidden Power, and that does a lot. I do snag a crit, but it's not really going to matter, because it was a 2-hit KO regardless. So now he's forced to switch out, bringing in the Scizor as I go for Hidden Power again, because I didn't really have a choice. Even if it was Scarfed, I could live one attack. Now here, I kind of over-predict, because I'm actually predicting him to go back out into the Thunderous T to get the Volt Absorb, and that's not what happens. it's not what happens. So he takes very minimal damage from the Hidden Power Ice. I take a knockoff, and because I am carrying the Z Crystal, it does not do as much damage as I thought it would be. So I'm thinking this is going to be great. So let me try Volt Switching. I was considering going for Hidden Power Ice here again, but I was like, what if he goes for a Bug move? I really don't want to do that. So I thought, you know what, let's be safer and go for Volt Switch here. I mean, worst comes to worst, you can just go out into the Thunderous T, get maybe a little bit more HP, but it's at a range where Ice Shard should take it out, so it should be fine, and he does go out into the Thunderous T. I was considering going for Hidden Power Ice. It was sort of in my gut, but I can never pull off those types of moves where it's on my gut, you know, I should have gone for it, but that's in the past. And we can just figure out what we're going to do. And I'm thinking about going for Hidden Power Ice. And he actually switches out and goes back out, and he goes out into his Azelf, which to snags another critical hit. Not that it really matters from that range, it really doesn't. So it's a pretty close match, 6-6 here. Everything is looking fine. And here, I don't really want to, I could have gone for Volt Switch, but I didn't really want him to go out into his stupid, like, I don't even know if this was Scarfed or not. Like, I still couldn't pinpoint if the Azelf and the Thunderous T, which one was Scarf. I knew one of them was, but I couldn't pinpoint it. I mean, it could be both. Who knows? But, that's why I switched out into my Sylveon to take it instead of Volt Switching out. And I set up a Wish here, and I'm thinking, oh, man, he's going to roar me. I know he's going to roar me. But actually, no. I'm actually wrong. That's different. That's later on. I actually go for Protect, thinking Roar protects, or thinking Roar doesn't get affected because of the Protect. That's just me not battling as much anymore, so I kind of forgot that. But it ended up working out, because Fortius still picks up the Wish, rather than having to be switched into like Mamoswine, which can't take anything at all from that Wish, because it was at full HP. But also, well, then again, it would have gotten hit by the rocks, then the Wish. So, I mean, this allows me to go for the Defog, and then he brings in this thing yet again as I Defog. So, this is still problematic, because I'm thinking, and I'm thinking, and I'm thinking, and I go, you know what, Alolan Marowak is only here because of this thing. So, I might as well just throw it out there and sack it off, because I have other ways around it. It's not my most pivotal thing, because I can just maybe just go out into my Sylveon for it, or Mamoswine for that matter. But actually, it doesn't even matter, because he goes for the Thunderbolt this time, which allows me to go for another Shadow Bone this time, because I was like, it doesn't really matter. I have him down to a range where Ice Shard can kill, so rocks aren't as important anymore. So now I go into Mantine. He goes for the 1,000 Arrows, and that actually does a lot more. And I'm thinking, what just happened? Okay, I'm at 99 HP. I looked at it, and I was like, you know what? It's fine. It is fine. So he goes for 1,000 Arrows again, and then he kills me! And I'm thinking, that's not physically possible! How in the world did that happen? And you're going to see the time dwindling down, because this is at the point where I go into, like, Discord, and I'm thinking, what just happened? That's not physically possible! That's literally not physically possible! And later I learned that, first of all, it wasn't Adamant, it was Jolly, like I say, but it was a 4.7% chance to happen. To two-shot from full HP. And this kind of throws me for a loop, it kind of flusters me, and by that, I mean tilting, and then I just kind of do things without thinking. You can kind of guess what I'm foreshadowing. Oh boy. But I do go for the Earthquake as he switches in his Scizor. And I'm thinking, I don't really want to take a Bullet Punch. I could possibly live it, but I'm not really inclined to, especially if this thing is like I'm not even calculating to see what this Scizor's set is from that Earthquake. Because I'm just flustered, I'm going, that should not have happened. That literally should not have happened. First of all, the calc lied to me. It said that it wasn't supposed to happen. It was, like even on Sylveon, it was supposed to be like a 4-hit KO, which in the end it's not. So I have to throw out my freaking Alolan Marowak now, because I don't really have a switch out of this. And my Sylveon's not at max HP, so I can't HP Fire Pro play him. So I'm kind of in a loss here. And I'm thinking, maybe I can just go into my Electrode here. And that definitely is a lot better of an idea, because now rocks aren't an issue. And I can just Volt Switch on him right now. I was actually thinking of doing something else. But I was like, you know what? He still has 2 electric immunities remaining. What if I go for Hidden Power Ice this time? What if I go for Hidden Power Ice to catch maybe his Thunderous off guard? And then even if he wants to bring in his Zygarde, I can just deal with him that way. Boy, that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like such a great idea. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm thinking, and you can see the time dwindling down. That's probably me talking to people. But here he goes into the Zygarde, and I get the correct play as I go for the Hidden Power, and I mean, I get another crit on the Hidden Power Ice. That's 3 on Hidden Power Ice, which is actually kind of wild. Like that's pretty insane. And here goes out into the Azelf, and I'm afraid again because I don't know if this thing is scarfed or not. And that's why I back out into my Sylveon as we see the Dazzling Gleam pop out from the Azelf. And now I was like, I really need to wish up. I really need to wish up. Oh my goodness, because it's 5-4. Things are still fine. And he goes out into the Empoleon, and I'm thinking, I'm not even going to get this wish off, am I? I really am not. Because he's just going to go for Roar. He's just going to go for Roar. And that sucks. What do I do? What do I do? Like, no matter what, if I protect, it's not going to happen. So he's just going to go for Roar. So if I'm not going to get this wish anyways, I might as well just go for damage at this point. Hidden Power Fire, I still haven't revealed yet. And I want to keep that in wraps. And he actually goes for the Stealth Rock as I go for the Hyper Voice. Which is actually very odd. Because I still get the wish back, so maybe I can pro-play the Scizor later on. But then this allows... But keep in mind. I'm still flustered at this point going like, I don't know how that 1,000 arrows killed. Of course, like I say, later I learned it was a 4.7% chance to 2-hit KO, which is still absurd. And it did, like, throw me for a loop, and it flustered me because I still needed Mantine. Mantine was a core Pokemon for this battle, and I just straight up lose him to something that literally, I don't even know a good comparison for this. And as you can see here, I don't account for the Stealth Rock up, and I lose my Electrode because I don't account for the Stealth Rock. And at this point, the game is lost. Because I don't have anything to deal with the Primarina. I do have something to deal with this within the Mamoswine, but I don't have anything to do with Primarina. Pretty much. Sylveon can't really deal with it because it has high special attack. The Primarina does. I guarantee, I've already looked, and Mamoswine doesn't do anything with it. And then, I mean, what is my last Pokemon going to do against it? What is Mega Sharpedo going to do against it? Nothing. It gets walled by it. So I literally just have to sack off my Mega Sharpedo here. Bullet Punch is nice because it drops me down to about 77, but it does get some not Stealth Rock, rough skin damage off on the Scizor, which means I can just go for Crunch here. But I know he's going to go out into Primarina. But I don't want to go out into anything. I was thinking, should I go into Sylveon now? That doesn't really make any sense. Maybe I should go out into Mamoswine. But that doesn't make any sense either, because Primarina just washes everything. It literally just washes everything that I have. And letting my Electro go down just cost me the game. Any chance I had just ended with that, so that's my fault. It didn't, but of course the 4.7% chance didn't even help either. So here I Mega Evolve. He goes out into the Primarina like I thought. I go for Crunch, measly damage, doesn't get any sort of defense drop, so kind of forces my hand to just rely on a Waterfall Flinch. Theoretically, I should have gone for the Ice Fang because I could have frozen it at the same time, but that's just wishful thinking. So Mega Sharpedo goes down, and literally at this point it's just a stall fest. Not really a stall fest, but I kind of wish stall here, just for a little bit. I think it's like 2 wishes, and then I go, there's no point in doing this. So I'm gonna explain what happened, because literally it's just me going for wish 2 times and then just giving up. So what happened here is that, like I say, I definitely needed Mantine the most because it dealt with the Scizor. It dealt with I could get rocks out the field. It could deal with some other things, it was a key component, especially because I could have just air slashed this thing with it. Like, it stopped Primarina as well. It stopped Primarina, it stopped Scizor, it stopped... It might have even stopped Azelf if it didn't have an electric move, which it probably did. But you have to understand how infuriating that is. Only that could happen to me. Only that could happen to me. And I'm not saying I lost because I tripped over my own feet. And I did spoil the match here, but at this point it should be self-explanatory what ends up happening here. He definitely played well, and he said he was like he was sorry about the 4.7% chance. Like, I mean, that's fine. I'm not mad. I was just laughing. I was just... Did this really just happen to me? Did this really just happen to me? I just hope that my hacks, like, payment to the hacks gods can just, like, I hope that's enough, because I have to face one of the hacksiest players in the game, right, in the league right now, in T-Train later on, and although that doesn't really matter. Here, of course, I just gave up. And he did get a Skull Burn earlier, which does kind of suck. That's going to put me down to 61. I'm thinking, you know what, one more will knock me out. I'm just going to continue going for Hyper Voice. There's no point in wishing, as it doesn't me no good, and stalling out the clock doesn't do me good anyway. And here, he gets a low roll on Hyper Voice, which means... Had I not gotten burned, another Hyper Voice just would have put out a range for Mamoswine to come in and maybe got the kill. But here I'm thinking, it's not even worth it. I mean, maybe I can go for a flinch here just in case if he switches out, trying to preserve the differential. But, I mean, he doesn't. And, unfortunately, down goes the Mamoswine. And, we lose. We lose. And that's how it ends. We end up losing 5-0. To a 4.7% chance. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, he played great. It's not that I got screwed by hacks. Because if I've been down that road before, and just blaming hacks, that's just... You have to give credit where credit is due. But, I mean, you have to look at the silver lining here. At least it wasn't a divisional... At least it wasn't a divisional loss, and that's fine. I know it's in conference, but... Gotta find a silver lining here somewhere. But with that, we can move on to the Pokemon of the game, which there is none, because this basically was just a showing of a 4.7% chance. If I don't laugh, I'll just get annoyed. Really. But with that, we can just look ahead to next week, as we have King Bub and the Munchlaxter united. And this is round 2 of the Final 5 Gauntlet. Now, if you don't know King Bub... there's this league called the, I think Pokemon for Glory, the P4G or something, I think that's what it's called. He was a fill-in there, and he went 9-1 with a team he didn't draft. That's scary. I mean, I know that he picked up Magnitude's team, Steve, Milwaukee Sawsbucks, but then he, like, rearranged it with a bunch of transactions, and... Oh, boy. It only goes up from here. But hey, I'm not going to just sit down, roll over, and take a loss. I'm going to go full force and hope that 4.7 does not do it again, does not rear its ugly head back into our battles. If you did enjoy this battle, though, go ahead and show some love on the like button. If you liked seeing me get spanked by 4.7% chances. And subscribe for more for the NPA. Like I said, we do play against Munchlaxter United. I don't know their record right now. I think it's like maybe 4-3 by now. Because I think Steve started out like, what was it, 1-3, and then he picked it up, and then he's gone like 3-0 or something. I don't know the specifics because I can't remember when they switched. But with that though, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll be catching you back at the top later on. Hopefully without 4.7% chances, because that's how you do watch.